Ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. Real Late Hot 97. My name is Peter Rosenberg, and it's here now. It's finally here. Armani Caesar, Liz 2.
Yes.
Griselda Zone. How are you?
Amazing. I feel good. I feel great.
I'm sensing a certain energy from you. You have a different kind of pep in your step, and is part of that because the last one was mid-pandemic, right?
No, for real. It was definitely like the thick of the pandemic.
Yeah, because I remember when we did the interview, it was like that's when Zoom interviews were just like becoming a thing.
No, for real.
So you never got to do. So this is like the most true, official, proper rollout you've ever had.
It's like my first real rollout, for real.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to have a celebratory dinner this week.
Yes, we did. Louis the 13th.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, for people who don't know, let's just start from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
The Armani Caesar Buffalo origin story. I know now you're Atlanta based, correct?
No, I'm in Charlotte.
Charlotte.
But I mean, I'm on road. I'm wherever I need to be right now.
But you have an interesting story, and we don't have to do the whole bio because we did it last time, and you can go find that interview right now. But let people know where you're from and how you ended up where you're at.
So I'm from Buffalo, New York, born and raised, and then I ended up moving to North Carolina to go to school. So, I kind of just stayed down there. But, Buffalo is always home. That's home base.
And
But
what'd you study in school?
I studied a bunch of shit because I really didn't want to go to school. But I went to school originally just, for a business CIS major. And then I moved to marketing. And I was told if I could market myself, I could do anything. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to do school.
And by the way, this has worked out. For anyone wondering, thinking, why would an artist need to go to school? Would you say that because you have an entire clothing business
Yeah.
that does really well for you? How impactful was school on that part of your career?
Well, school taught me how to market. I always was a hustler, but like school teaches you how to market. It teaches you about how to actually brand and really turn your hustle into something more like structured. So I definitely got that, and then I took a hip hop and context class with Knife Wonder.
Right.
So that was kind of like I still got to have fun a little bit and still do my thing. So.
And then what about how did you, the early stories of getting into the studio with DJ Shay? That's sort of how it started for you, right? Sort of what now would be considered like the classic Buffalo story, because DJ Shay's studio is sort of the essence of this entire thing.
No, seriously, Lilo Studios was where all the who's who met up to you either was rapping or you knew somebody that was there. That was just where all the best music was made. And it was nothing but spitters in there. And then that's where I met Wes, Benny, Conway, and DJ Shay was the one that kind of just let us do what we wanted to do, and really put that first fire behind us. Nah, we're gonna take you serious.
I'm bummed I never got to spend any quality time with DJ Shay, but it just sounds like from everything I hear about him that he had sort of a lovely energy.
Yeah, no, Shay was definitely cool. He would definitely, snap if you was on some bullshit. But I think more or less than anything, he was just one of those people that really believed before all of this shit. He actually seen in us what we're doing now, way back then when we didn't have shit going on. So
now are you ever surprised when you linked up with these guys?
Mm-hmm.
This is before they were household names in hip hop. This was still an emerging thing. Buffalo at that point had no real national hip hop story to tell at all.
True.
So have you been surprised at all at how well things have gone for Griselda?
No, because I think again, I felt like it should have took time, and I felt like it should have happened before then, but I think everything happens when it's supposed to happen. And I think I don't know any better artists than the group that I'm in now. And that's not just because I know them. That's just because I literally studied and, grew up under them. Wes is a visionary. He is able to take a brand and turn it up with music and turn it up with fashion and turn it into something that is not really being done or has never really been done, at least that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
Benny and Conway is always in my top 5. goes without saying. So I think it was just a given. I think we just needed the platform, and Wes was able to create that platform. And it's like now everybody is like on go. It's like super, just it's lit. It's lit.
No, it does really, it's starting to feel like everybody is gaining steam and momentum, and it takes time. You know what I mean?
For
Like,
sure.
and it's not common. Like, there are artists out here obviously making dope music and living off it, and that's a sort of modern phenomenon that now exists in hip hop. But they're not always able to put on the next person and have them go. In fact, some of the greatest artists of all time have struggled to get the next one to go.
No,
but it really feels like with you guys now, it's all sort of coming into focus.
Yeah, I feel like now if you haven't heard of Griselda, then you kind of feel like late to the party. Like anybody that really don't know about it or is just finding out about it is like, damn, where I been? Like it's never a thing where people hear about Griselda and they're like, no, okay, like that's cool. No, like everybody is on it. The who's who respect us, from the highest charting artists and everybody else like in between. I think fuck with us on some level.
Well, listen, I can tell you've been out of Buffalo for a while, because the way that you say the word artist isn't nearly as Buffalo as the way this guy, West Side Gun's artist, you don't hit the full artist. Now, tell us why the Liz? Why is the Liz your brand at this point?
At this point, I just think that it embodies everything that I am as a woman. I feel like everybody from Liz Taylor, Liz Claiborne, Elizabeth from wrestling, I think all of those women, they tie so well into what I'm doing because they're all different, like the moguls, the entrepreneurs, the, super classic, regal, like all of those things tie into everything that my music is and my brand represents. So it's important. And then I think just with the art being what it is, I think that it's able to transcend all of everything that's going on right now.
So tell us a little bit about Liz 2, and then let's play a couple of joints. Who's on the album? The producers. Give us the rundown of Liz 2.
So Liz 2 is just like an elevated version of Liz 1. Obviously I got the gang on there, Westside, Benny, Conway. I got Beat King on there, Queendom, Kodak Black, Stove God. So it's definitely like one of them joints where it's some heavy hitters on there, but it also is me actually stretching myself as an artist and just trying new things, but also just getting comfortable with what I was already doing. Like the first Liz was about me actually showing people that I could rap. Now this one is like, okay, now I could rap. Now you are going to see that I know how to make great songs and, great material without the typical, talking about my pussy, talking about, any of the regular shit. Like I'm talking about real stuff, and everything that I'm talking about on this album, I was probably going through like in real time or coming out of.
You talk about, you just brought up the sort of the typical of what's expected of women to talk about in hip hop.
Right.
And you are in sort of a unique space in that you have a look and a brand. Literally, you have a clothing brand. Like, if you follow you on Instagram,
right.
Like, you're putting on a performance on Instagram, right? Like, your appearance is part of your brand.
Right.
But you haven't made it an overwhelming part of your music, which is actually pretty unique. Like, to now, like, I don't like to overjudge. I feel weird being a man telling women what they should be rapping about. But simultaneously, I look around, I'm like, damn, a lot of these songs are about the same old thing.
Yeah.
How did you find sort of this middle ground of like the fashion and putting the looks together with Lil Kim, but not with the raunch that has kind of followed in the years since then?
I think it's about me like just not wanting to be put into a box. And I think that as a woman, we all have these feelings. We all have feelings of wanting to, twerk. We want to like boss up. We go through stuff in relationships. Me personally, I come from the inner streets of Buffalo, New York. So I've been all around, that gang shit since I was born. And more or less than anything, I just think it's authentic to who I am. And it's all different sides. I think with females, especially like that have the quote unquote look, they're pigeonholed to having to sound one way because that's what the industry is telling them to do. And I think that with my crew, like, they give me the freedom to express myself however I want to express myself. And I think, like, staying authentic to that, it's just going to translate into the music. Like, yeah, I got times where I want to turn up in the club, but I also got times where I want to just ride to some shit and really listen to some music and catch a vibe. So I think that I was able to do all of that and still remain true to myself without being typecast.
Well, now let's give you all a taste of what we're talking about. We're going to play a couple of joints off the Liz 2. Armani Caesar's in the building. More next on Real 8 on Hot 97.
Yeah.
Hot 97. My name's Peter Rosenberg. My guest for the second time, two-time club, Armani Caesar is back. Great to see you again.
Great to be here.
Saw you at Summer Jam. You were having a good old time.
I had a blast.
Now, what I was thinking about this recently, like, what else is out there for you that you want to do? I mean, obviously you seem incredibly passionate about the rapping, and I love what you said earlier about not just wanting to show people you can rap anymore, but put together songs, because that's a different thing. You know what I mean? Putting together complete songs, complete ideas, then complete albums. These are all sort of different concepts. But aside from continuing to perfect the music craft, do you want to grow further in fashion? Would you want to act or host, or what are your goals?
I think all of that, comes with the music. The music is the base, and I feel like, as an artist, as a woman, as an entrepreneur, it was always the plan to grow in that. And, like, I got a CEO / label mate that literally is doing whatever he want to do, whether he want to get in his fashion bag, whether he want to get in his acting bag, whether he want to, like, have his own, like, anything, he's doing it. And I think that it's important to see more females doing that. And, like, I look up and I study, like, the people around me, because I feel like it's important to be surrounded by winners and people that's actually doing other things, so that you can see that it can be done. And again, like, we from Buffalo, New York. All of this that's happening right now has never happened before. So, me being able to be, in box office movies, me able to, transcend not only just in the fashion brand, but into the beauty brand as a whole, me being able to just have these big looks and be able to have fun doing what I'm going to do anyway. If I'm going to put on makeup every day, I might as well have my own makeup line. That's how it started with the clothes. I was doing music before I was getting paid for it, because I love to do it. Now I'm able to, like, support my family and get paid doing it and have fun doing it. So everything in my life that I'm doing right now that I'm having to pay to do, I'm going to get paid to do.
Does it give you a sense of freedom knowing that you have multiple revenue streams and that you don't have to rely solely on music or solely on fashion, because they can kind of work together?
Hell yeah, because it's expensive being a bad bitch now. You got to have a coin. So, yeah, like, and then not for nothing, if 2020 never taught you anything, it taught you that one stream of income is not enough. You might as well have zero.
What is the most annoying expense that you, like, deal with, that you're just like, I don't feel like spending this money? This is just annoying.
I don't ever like spending my money.
I know that's right.
I mean, everything. I don't like spending my money. So that's why we need to get them brands and ads in here,
But, like, hair is always, like, as a dude,
yeah.
I've always been miffed. Like, when, from young, when your girl goes out to get her hair done, you're like, wait, how much do you cost? Because you're used to, at the time, my haircut was $20.
Woo.
And they're like, oh, it's $250, got a blowout, blah, blah. It still missed me to this day.
Nah, hair could be upwards towards, like, a band, $1,500.
Okay, I understand. Please help me. I'm the worst person to talk about this. I'm a white man. My understanding of hair, let alone black hair.
No.
Listen, although I do have a couple of issues of Sophisticate's Black Hair Monthly during my Halle Berry obsession, but I didn't read them well enough. So what are you doing when you get to the point of spending $1,000 to $1,500 on hair?
So a good wig, or like some good bundles or tape-ins or micro links or whatever kind of hair you're gonna get for a good quality brand is gonna be like, it's gonna start at $500. if you know, like inches, like sometimes I like my hair down to my ass, so that's 40 inches. That's gonna be like $1,000. Then I'm not the girl that's gonna sit in the salon because you know, like I like to protect my peace. 9 times out of 10, I'm doing some other type of business. I'm working, so I need you to pull up on me. That's a $150 travel fee. Then I need, you know what I'm saying, for you to do my hair is gonna be like for the good girls, they start at $250. You know, sometimes $350. If I'm getting it dyed, that's another $100. If I'm getting it, you know, like if I'm getting extra bundles added, that's another $150 a bundle. So like you damn near at like 2 bands by the time you get your hair done.
Okay, this wasn't where I planned on going, but now you piqued my curiosity, so I got to ask another question. How long, like if you get a wig or bundles, whatever you get, how long can that last you? Like, how long are you keeping that on your head before you're like, all right, it's time to move on. I need to get something else.
I just had a debate about this with my manager.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
It depends because, like, let's just say on an average day, like if I'm just recording, then I may keep my hair in for like a week. But with like wigs and stuff, it requires maintenance. You know, you got to make sure that the lace is lacing. So,
by the way, the first time we've had this conversation on Real 8, but I think it's one that we needed to do. So Liz 2 is now. What's next for Armani Caesar?
I'm dropping again. Like after this drop, like y'all not gonna have to wait that long for me to drop ever again. And then, you know, just bigger looks, you know, like once y'all listen to the features on this one, I'm sure, you know, it's going to be a lot of people like hitting my line. It's already a lot of people hitting my line to work now. After that, you know, we just elevating with everything, the fashion, the music. I'm taking scripts. You know, I'm linking up with brands, you know. We probably in Paris doing fashion week. You know, I'm going to have a documentary because I documented this whole process for the past like 2 years for real.
Really?
Yeah, just like working, my first tours, my first Coachella, you know, all of the Rolling Louds, Day in Vegas, Made in America. Like I didn't really do, like I kind of like skipped steps when it came to like actually being in this game. I didn't really do too many like just small club venues. Like I hopped straight into stadiums when but you also had some hard things to do because like I remember seeing you post early times when you were getting brought out and the base didn't know you yet. Yeah. That's still hard. Like it's great to get the rub and have that fact that, you know, this guy brings you out or Benny or Conway brings you out. But then you're still looking at a crowd who doesn't know your songs. No, for real.
How hard were those early shows?
It wasn't hard. I'm always a show and prove person. Like nothing was ever given to me. So I didn't expect people to just like embrace me right away just because these was real hip hop heads. So they not bandwagon people. So these are people. Nor
are they even used to seeing a woman in the venue, let alone on stage. So.
That too. So, you know, it's kind of like an advantage because I know you're going to look at me and pay attention, but I'm also the type to like cut the beat and I'm just going to go a cappella and you're going to really hear these bars. So it's good, like, because by the end, when I'm getting ready to walk off stage, like I'm seeing people bobbing their heads, and then like slowly but surely I start seeing like Liz hoodies in the crowd. I'm starting to see like people actually like rapping.
That starting was closer to your starting. She said starting to see. It was a little bit.
But for real though, like I'm like now I go from just seeing people staring at me like this to now I'm starting to see like men like rapping my bars.
That's one of the things that like irks me about the situation for women in the game generally is that you guys always seem to be in a situation where people want to put people up against each other. And and then on top of that, I mean, if we're being honest about it, full disclosure, some people further that narrative. Like, do you ever get frustrated with the amount of sort of back and forth between between women in the game?
I mean, I just stay in my lane. You know what I'm saying? Like
You've had no problems.
Yeah, no, because I feel like that's corny. Like, and that's not what this is about. And men don't really be having to go through that. Like, they can do a Watch the Throne, and it can be like, you hot, I'm hot. Like, you the king, I'm the king. I want to be on some shit like, you a bad bitch, I'm a bad bitch. I'm not threatened by you. You know what I'm saying? I can still be very much a bad bitch, even if I am standing in a room for bad bitches. Like, that don't take nothing away from me, and I ain't never been no hater. So at the end of the day, like, I want to be able to work with more females, and I feel like it's needed because I feel like females is coming in this game, and we out rapping a lot of these niggas right now.
No, there's definitely a bigger pool of talented young women in the game than I ever remember in history.
No, I mean, it was one for like 10 years.
Literally. and then before that there were two. No, that's not true. I guess because in the late 90s there were 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then you're right. Then it really there was one. Mm-hmm. And that has made it, it's weird that people seem like to not have the bandwidth. I don't know why. You only have room for one woman in your life. Like, I don't understand it at all.
I wish men thought like that in relationships. Like, only have one.
Right. You mean, hold on. You wish men were as loyal to their women as they were to Nicki Minaj for 10 years as an artist.
I mean, like, it would be a whole new world.
Yo, you mentioned that the one thing that you mentioned feature-wise on Liz 2 that stood out, obviously, I think that people were like, was Kodak Black. Mm-hmm. How did that come together?
It was just super organic. Like, me and my manager, we was just sitting, just kicking and talking, like, yo, like, listening to the Liz and thinking of just like features, just random features. And I was like, I want to get somebody on here that's like a different type of artist, like, that may be completely different. And I was like, we were just throwing names out there. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna shoot my shot. Like, let me just go in DM and just DM him and see what he said. And he was like, yeah, bet, send it. So I'm thinking like, all right, cool, I'm gonna send it. He ain't gonna never hit back, whatever. He sent it back in like 3 hours. He was like, I'm gonna stretch the beat. And he sent it back in 3 hours. Now,
okay, honest question. Let's keep it 1,000% real. Mm-hmm. Do you think he was aware of you when you sent it?
Yeah.
Like, he already knew what was up and wanted to do it.
I don't think, like, it probably was maybe not like that. He probably just thought I was a pretty girl, like, but knowing that I do music, and I think that the song was just really fire.
Well, of course.
Like, so I think that, like, he felt like he heard himself on it just like I heard him on it. So it was more so on some shit like, nah, like, I'm gonna smoke this. Because one thing about it, like, if you listen to that song, he didn't just drop a random verse. Like, that verse was contrived based off of, like, you hearing my verse and, like, paying attention.
That's
like,
very
he's talking
cool.
about us being Geminis and,
oh, wow. He did the work. He's doing the research.
Yeah, I'm in a Caesar cut. I got a Caesar cut clean coming through in Armani. Like, he was like,
oh, wow,
doing his big one. Yeah. So,
yo, that's crazy.
No, for real.
That is not an experience that I had trying to put my album together. Just sent a DM 3 hours later. I'm like, hey, you want? No, enjoy yourself. Hey, listen, Armani, I'm super excited for you. Super excited for Liz too. Obviously, you have the open door policy here. So the next time you drop, come on back through. Anything else you want to tell the people of New York on your way out?
Liz 2, $100 Hiccup out right now. Make sure y'all go stream that. The video is fire. Paula Deen video is out. That's super
crazy.
Fire. Big budget shit. We giving you looks after looks after looks. Kodak, the Diana video is coming.
Wow.
It'll be out by now. Like, once they hear this.
Diana Princess?
No, yeah. Well,
what's the
So we call it Diana for a couple reasons. It was originally called Stanko, but
it's a far cry from Diana to Stanko.
But you know what? Like, I'm singing and I'm doing a rendition of Love Hangover at the
so
end
it's Diana
of
Ross.
So it's Diana Ross. It's kind of a disco beat. So, like, when I heard it, that's immediately the vibe that I was getting into anyway. The video was kind of, a little, like, nostalgic and real, just glamour and all of those things. But shout out to Princess Diana. Shout out to, shout out to Diana Ross. I would love for her to come out on stage and do it with me.
I mean, why not? Listen, sky's the limit at this point. Armani Caesar, Griselda's own, Liz 2, it's out. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
Armani Caesar.
Ew.